Dun 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 dun. What up, guys? So Game of Thrones is back, season 7. I'm really excited to talk about this season. After the end of season 6, with everything going on at Winterfell and with King's Landing, I was so excited to see what was going to happen, so let's talk about it. And just so you know, if you have not watched season 7, episode 1, and you are watching this, turn it off unless you don't care about spoilers, because I'm going to be talking in depth about this episode. So the episode begins on a pretty high note. So, when I first saw Walder Frey sitting there and talking to, his family of Freys, at first I was like, oh, this must be a flashback, I guess? But then I was like, no, this is not a flashback. And then it took me a second to be like, that's Arya underneath there, and she is going to poison all of those people. Say what you want about Arya, she's definitely, become, It feels good to see her kill some of the people that she has killed. But at the same time, she could be going down a dark path, so we'll see where that goes, but it was still satisfying to see all the Freys die. So then there was the moment with Bran when he was up at the wall, and for a second I was like, holy crap, they're going to reunite him with Jon. But then I was like, oh wait, no, Jon's back at Winterfell, so it's not going to happen yet. But he's getting closer, so that's cool. Then you get to see Jon Snow back at Winterfell, and it's all great, and you see him starting to rule. However, you can definitely tell there's some of that tension going on between him and Sansa. And I like that, because I definitely feel like, they're building up that tension, but it makes sense. In one sense, Jon is the superior, and he definitely has, he's wise and knowledgeable. But at the same time, you have Sansa, who... she's seen some shit. She's seen some stuff, and, for those reasons, she's like, Jon, I've seen this, you need to make this decision. But Jon's like, no, for honor and this, that, and the other thing. And it was interesting when he actually pulled him aside. It was like, look, I loved Robb, I loved my dad, but they both made bad decisions. You need to be smarter than them. So who knows what's in store for them? Maybe more tension will build up between them, and, Littlefinger's still there, so he might try to get into Sansa's ear. That being said, it definitely seems like Sansa does not trust him at all at this point. It was also funny when they were at Winterfell, and you had the main Wilding guy totally having eyes and staring at Brienne. That could make for some funny stuff. I look forward to that. So next on the episode, then there was Arya again with something very interesting. Ed Sheeran shows up. What? I don't have anything against Ed Sheeran, and he might be a good actor. And heck, he's got a great voice, but when I saw him turn around and you see him on screen, it just kind of took me out of it for a minute, because, I don't know, it was weird seeing Ed Sheeran in a Game of Thrones episode, or a Game of Thrones setting. That's just the way it is. It was interesting, though, because I appreciated the discussion between those men and Arya, because, Arya has become this really hard-hearted person, always killing people and, trusting no one. But I almost wonder if they were purposefully going for, an instance where she meets actually kind-hearted people. She talks to the guy who's looking forward to seeing her wife and her baby, and others seeing other family members, and wanting to do things and see things for, basic and uplifting and moral reasons. That being said, at the same time, they don't know that she's the one who killed the Freys, so who knows what'll happen. She's still with them. I was definitely surprised at how much time they spent with the Hound and that guy who's come back from the dead so many times with that clan of people. I'm not really sure. I'm definitely excited to see where they go with that, and it was kind of cool to see when the Hound and all those people were staying at that house. I'm presuming that was the home that the Hound and Arya were at, and he basically just killed the father and stole all their stuff, because he obviously knew them and he felt really guilty about something. So that was definitely a really cool character moment for the Hound. They also spent considerably more time with Samwell Tarly at the Citadel than I thought. Obviously, he's not in the position that he thought he was. He thought he was going to be a maester, but instead he's just doing the grunt work, and he's probably gotten good at cleaning them bedpans, I'll say that much. But it was definitely interesting how at the end, he gets into the restricted section and looks in the book and finds that stuff, how there could be dragon glass underneath dragon stone, or whatever the Targaryens' home place is. I will say, though, I'm surprised that seems like one of those things in Game of Thrones, did nobody know that there was a bunch of dragonstone or dragon glass underneath a dragonstone? I also wonder how Jorah Mormont got into one of the cells there. I'm sure they'll, tell more as time goes on, but You know, and poor Jorah, he's got a hell of a lot of dragon scale going. I hope he survives. I like that guy a lot. We'll see. Probably my favorite part of the episode was the exchange between Cersei and Jaime. Can definitely tell... Well, that was interesting, actually, because... You know, at first, you know, I think one of the theories was that Huron might come and might try to make an alliance with Cersei because she doesn't have anyone else at that point, and Jaime makes that clear, like, we don't have any allies. And it was cool how he basically says, you're not the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, you're Queen of, like, 3 at best. And I was like, yeah, that's true, Jaime, you're right. But you definitely tell there's still some tension between them. However, you know, I can't believe I'm saying I'm giving Cersei credit, but... At least she wasn't dumb enough to just automatically accept Huron's offer of marriage right on the spot. I'm not convinced that that won't happen for real in future episodes, but who knows. So, lots of stuff there, and, you know, who knows. I don't think Jaime and Cersei are going to end up well together. I'm pretty sure Jaime's going to end up rebelling against her at some point. I'm surprised he didn't bring up the wildfire, because, you know, he's the Kingslayer and he killed the Mad King, so... He wouldn't do what Cersei did. He did bring up Tommen, though, and that was a very entertaining and interesting exchange. So, I don't know, lots to come, lots of interesting stuff. And, of course, you know, you're waiting for the whole episode to see, okay, when are they going to show Khaleesi, when are they going to show Tyrion and Varys and all those great people you love. They were really leaving you in the suspense there because there wasn't any dialogue for that whole scene except at the very end when, you know, she walks into the room, she looks at the map. Shall we begin? So yeah, it was a fun episode. I'm glad to have Game of Thrones back. Obviously, you know, the first episodes in the seasons are typically my least favorite, just because it really is a bunch of setup and recap, like this character's here, this character's there, oh, this is what's probably going to happen, and it's not a whole lot of really meaty stuff happens, it's just a lot of setups, which is fine, because, you know, that happened at the beginning of Season 6, and the end of Season 6 had 2 of the best episodes in the whole series, so we'll see. Guys, thank you for watching this video. If you are watching it, please comment below and let me know any thoughts you are. I'd love to get a discussion going if anyone is interested in doing that. What are your theories? What are your thoughts? Lots of stuff to talk about. You can look forward to my episode 2 review next week, and I will see you next time. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please click on any of my other videos on my channel right now. But you know what you should do? You should click here to subscribe to my channel so you get updates for when I actually put out the new videos. And if you want to comment below and let me know what you think, please do. I always love hearing from you guys and knowing what your thoughts are on the matter.